And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Cecil Riddia and Michael T. Shamborn III here at Cult Classic Neo, playing a little bit more of this thing we like to call Final Fantasy II. On the Super Nintendo, obviously Final Fantasy IV is the proper term, but whatever. I'm playing the old school SNES version from the United States. I don't care that it's not the right version. You know why? Because I'm preferring this version to the one that was, you know, supposedly not watered or dumbed down or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up on this one. But we're going to get more into the adventure, flesh out the story quite a bit here. As you can see, there's a lot of dancing going on. I'm eating grapes here, broadcasting from the real world where we get to eat grapes. I know you all in the Matrix get to have signals sent to your brain as if you're eating grapes, but you're not. It's not grapes. And I'm here to break you out of the Matrix, actually, believe it or not. And there she is. Oh, girl, I wouldn't leave you. What are you talking about? So, one of the things I do appreciate about this game, so we just found our girl. She's hurt. We have to save her by getting the sand ruby to cure her fever, but it's in the lair of the monster called Antlion. And that's all you're told, like, hey man, you gotta fight an antlion. What's an antlion? Oh, I'm not gonna tell you that, because why would I? Do you know a Cecil? Ouch! I always thought that was kind of cool. You touch the flames, it actually burns you. But so yeah, we have to go to the cave where the antlion is. And if I had to be a betting man or a guessing man, someone in the town knows. So they're all telling me that Rose is here, Rose is here. Now, I kind of know what's happening, so I've avoided talking to the people in town because they get wordy. So that's actually a little bit of foreshadowing right there, too. But I'm hoping somebody here can tell us about the antlion. We're going to go to the inn. We're going to work our way up into the inn. See who we got over here. So the watery passage to Fabul is being controlled by a crazy old sage. We'll learn more about him later. So too many monsters for her to have customers. Anyway, I was hoping someone would educate us about the antlion so I could show you kind of how the older school role-playing games did, especially for you younger cats who may not have played this game. You know, it was really essential. Like most role-playing games now just have people in towns as filler, kind of to make you feel like you're not alone in the world. But back in the day, these games, and Final Fantasy II, not quite as much as like a game like Phantasy Star, where you had to talk to all the people in the town if you wanted any, you know, hope of figuring out where to go or what to do next. There were no map markers back in these days, friends. This is old school to the fullest. So I'm walking around town talking to everybody, but nobody's talking about the antlion. So it looks like we're just going to have to figure it out. Now, the good news is you can't go anywhere else in the world but to where the antlion is. So just a little bit of exploration here on the world map, which you're going to see here in a second. And I also love the fact that if you push on people, they actually move out of your way. I always thought that that was cool. And every role-playing game should have had that facet, but didn't. So a little bit of exploration is going to yield the truth about where we must go next. Let's go ahead and kill the sandpede. Let's get her. Let's drop some ice on these desert folk. See how that does. Cool thing too is as she levels up and gets used to using the spells, she gets faster at it. So there'll be a time where as soon as I push the button, she'll immediately cast the spell, which is dope. I always thought that was a facet that was very interesting in the older Final Fantasies. Of course, now in the games, your ATB or whatever fills up and you do your move, but you could actually have a greater hand, not necessarily in controlling it, but influencing it by leveling up and using the spells. Now the problem is I'm about to use up all this magic, and she's not going to have any once we get into the cave. That's okay. I've got some tents. Ooh, I don't have any magic power there, homie. I don't know what you think you're snatching. Oof, that was a hard hit. Probably should have done some more leveling off camera. These grapes are delicious here in the real world. I'm not sure what grapes taste like to you guys in the Matrix, but these grapes are delicious. Something we need to do so you can switch your character by hitting the right trigger. So we need to hit the N, but I also need to go to the item shop because I wasn't thinking I'm gonna need some ether. Hopefully they have ether. Let's see what they got. Yes, they do. Good Lord, in Jesus' name. This dude wants 10 G's for some ether. We'll just get a couple of 10s. Screw that. Take at least one life just in case, because Rydia is still relatively weak. Although I don't expect to lose to the antlion, I still want to be prepared. And still can't stress enough that the soundtrack for this game is absolutely amazing. Let's go. Alright, let's go get the antlion, y'all. Should go looking for a chocobo nest. Showcase the chocobos for you while I chew on my grapes. It's totally unprofessional, by the way. I pride myself on professionalism. I'm sitting here eating grapes on the microphone. Who does that? This guy does that. That's who. Save it up. Alright. The watery passage. Let's go get some treasure chests. And there's your boy. Not to worry, friends. We're gonna go get him. I don't necessarily want to use magic here, but I think I need to. And you know what? Lightning works good because these are water creatures. Done and done. Well done, Rydia. Oh, yeah. Alright, now, before we get to our friend up there, let's check to the right, make sure we got all the treasure. Hopefully show you some of the secret areas. A lot of these dungeons had secret areas that you could get to that I always thought was pretty dope. Encounter rate not too high. I remember going back and playing the Japanese version of this game and thinking, man, the encounter rate seems higher than it was playing it on Super Nintendo. May not actually be the case, but that's how it felt. Hit him up, Cecil. Let's just fight. It's not going to do much damage, but I don't want to waste all her MP. I want to save it. Even though we're going to get a tent and get it back, but I want to be in optimal condition for battle once we have to do it in the game here. Oop, gain another level. Learn hold. Notice what spell she's not learning. Has anybody picked up on that? She's learned ice. She's learned lightning. What spell has our little friend not learned, ladies and gentlemen? That's another aspect of the storytelling which I thought was dope in this game, which you'll figure it out here in a little while. You'll figure, well, I'm sure you figured out what spell she hasn't learned, but you're going to find out why that's important. So a lot of good places early in the game to level up if you need to. Like this cave. A lot of good XP floating around here. I'm going to push through just to, you know, keep it focused on the story so you don't have to watch me level grind for hours at a time. I'll do that off camera. But just know this isn't a bad place to do it. And she's just learning spell after spell after spell. Has she caught up to Cecil yet? Check our stats here. So she's almost caught up. So Rydia levels very quickly when you get her, because she's basically level 1 when you pick her up. And you're level, you know, 10 to 12, depending on how much leveling you did with Cain. I usually do more than what I've done here in the game just because I want to keep it focused. So one of the things that really takes me back about this particular... Oh, let's read. So a wicked bard has tricked his daughter into running away to Damsian. I never really knew how to say that town. Damayakin is how I said it as a kid because I couldn't read. But Damsian or Damsian, I think is how you say it. You must be the sage Tellah, or Tellah, depending. I call him Tellah. Yeah, I'm Tellah. I'm going to Damsian to get my daughter who eloped. But a huge monster is blocking the way. My magic is not strong enough to defeat it. Your dark sword might help. And we're also on our way there. Good, let's hook up. Sure thing, Tellah. Ba ba ba. Love it. Soundtrack so dope. So one of the things, the joys of remembering this game, is that I remember, and you got to think back into your Wayback Machine, you know, when you first started gaming, and really think about those times where you remember going to the store to get a new game, like your parents took you there. Like, I remember when I got Metal Gear. I remember the day I got Metal Gear. I was so excited. My dad had taken me, I think it was KB Toys, and my dad had taken me, excuse me there, to the mall to get it specifically for the purpose of getting a video game. And I was so psyched, so excited. And I remember, but I distinctly remember when I first saw Final Fantasy II. Like, I didn't buy it when I first saw it because it was in, I want to say the store I was at was Software Etc. Because there used to be all kinds of different stores where you could buy games and software and stuff like that. Like, it used to be a lot of people in the game. Now it's just basically GameStop, Best Buy, like just a handful of places. But there was a time where, check out what I'm about to do here. So I'm gonna hit him with Cure 2, and they about to be dead. There was a time where a bunch of different places, Toys R Us, Software, etc., all these places that sold video games. You know, now it's narrowed down basically to department stores and GameStop, and every once in a while you'll come across an indie store like Starland or eStarland if you're shopping online. It's just called Starland where I'm from, because I live where that store happens, which is dope. I don't have anything there. Did I pick up anything? Nope. It's not like I'm going to be using him to attack anyway. But anyway, I remember going into, it was either Egghead Software or Software Etc. And I was like, yo, this game looks super dope, yo. Like, I picked up the box to Final Fantasy II, and it just looked like this place where you just get whisked away into this dope adventure. And I was like, I really got to play that game. And then I looked at the price, and it was like $75. I was like, I don't have $75 to spend on a game, yo. Like, that's insanity. But, you know, I waited for the day when I was able to actually purchase it. And I remember just that day reading the back of the box for what seemed like, I don't know, an hour. Just lamenting the fact that I could not buy this game because I just didn't have the money for it. And that was back when Neo Geo had cartridges. It had the Neo Geo home system where I think the console was like $700 or $800, and the games alone were $100 to $200. Like, it's so funny to listen to people in today's gaming market complain about prices and DLC. I'm like, dude, you think a $600 console is a lot? Like, try the Neo Geo was $1,000, and on top of that, the games were $200 a piece. Are you kidding me? Now, granted, it didn't sell very well, and it didn't last very long at all. But I mean, just think about that. Like, we complain when an indie game isn't $5, and you know, we were playing literally SNK beat 'em ups for $200. It's insane, man. just to hear what people complain about these days. They have no idea what it was like. Like Final Fantasy II. Final Fantasy II, check this out. Final Fantasy II, like if I went and bought the cartridge now, it would be cheaper now. And by the way, it's a collector's item. That's why this is important, because most of you are saying, well, duh, of course it's cheaper. It's 70 years old. No. It's a collector's item. This game isn't just easy to run up on. And so it's cheaper. It's like $10 cheaper now than it was when I bought it at like 75. And when you adjust for inflation, that's 75. Dude, the game was like $120 easy by today's standards. Like, games have never been cheaper. So when I hear people complain about how expensive video games are, I'm like, give me a break. Give me a break. Remedy? What's that supposed to do? See how she gets faster at casting the spells? Legit. Wow, 100 doesn't drop them? Oof. Tough crowd, man. So yeah, I remember, like, it was such a joy to go, and that's something that I miss about the modern world is, so when I was growing up, you had different stores where you could go just browse games and look at them and look at the back of the boxes and be excited. You can still do that at GameStop to a certain extent, but it's so watered down at this point. And like music stores, we used to have music stores when I was growing up where you could go just browse CDs, or, you know, even like when I first started going to music stores, it was tapes. Cassette tapes. Now, granted, I'm not old enough to have been browsing through records, except that, you know, most music stores had a record section for DJs and collectors. But, you know, I wasn't buying records. Basically, when I was old enough to start buying my own music, CDs had come on the scene. And it's just crazy. Like, you can't do that anymore. You can't, like, you go to iTunes now and you just click a thing and the music shows up in on your computer. And it loses it loses that sense of exploration and discovery that people hear me talk about a lot in gaming. But I was like that in the real world too. Like, I loved going to Tower Records and just browsing, or going to like an indie music store in DC and browsing, you know, just what do they have here that I don't already own that's weird or eclectic, you know, some new music that I can get into and really enjoy. And it's just not a thing anymore. It does not exist anymore. And it's disappointing, because that was such a joyous time of my life. It doesn't happen anymore. Like, it's over, bro. Enjoy yourself. All right, let's try to get lightning to light these fools up and get Rydia to do it like right on his heels, so this thing can't heal itself. This is a very powerful enemy, this water bug. Goodness gracious. Gotta use another spell on it. And he's dropping 185 on that thing and it's still living. I think that's crazy to me. Rydia gained a level. Learn Venom. Yeah, learn it, girl. Alright, I need some ether, but they cost $20 million to own them. Go get this treasure chest over here. Are any of the secrets here? No. Alright, so always check the corners of caves, because you just never know. You just never know, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta keep it gangster real. Keep it real gangster. Oh, these cats again. You know what? Attack that thing. Stop using him to attack stuff that doesn't matter. I can't do anything with Rydia. She's done. I could block, basically. I need to put Tellah on the back row, too. Got him. Alright, come on. There you go. Smoke him. Anybody else leveling up? Tellah takes forever to level up because he's like level 40 already when you pick him up. 20, yeah. So let's change. I think, no, I don't want to do that. I want to move Tellah to the back row as a, whoa. And let's change. There we go. So I want Tellah in the back row because I don't want him to take a ton of damage. Something that you got to consider when you play the game. Your mages you always want to put on the back row for the most part. Come on, hurry up and get to the tent area. There it is. Come on, Cecil, you can do better than that. Let's go. She hit him for 3. It's just nothing. All right, sweet. Great job, Cecil. Oh, yeah. Ba-da-da-da-da. Man, I need some ether. Right about now. It's the Funk Soul Brother. There's the ether. You know what? I'm not going to waste it, though. I'm going to use the tent because ether's worth 10 G's. Don't want to just waste 10 G's on getting my magic up when I think Tellah's going to have enough magic to get us out of this situation. Alright, let's get down to square business. So I've noticed the encounter rate seems much higher in this cave than it did outside of it. I assume there is a bit of randomness to it. Or maybe not. Maybe it's supposed to be high here to drain your MP to, you know, make the using of the tent feel more substantial. I'm not sure. But I imagine, based on how old this game is, it's probably just a random happenstance. Somehow I doubt the algorithms running this game are quite that advanced. To know, oh, he's in that cave? Yeah, make the encounter rate go. Which, I mean, it wouldn't be an insane block of code to pull that off. Here we go. Matter of fact, I think Tellah just gives us a tent, doesn't he? Or do we actually have to use one? I can't remember. I think he just kind of, a tent just happens without us having to use our inventory. Yeah. See, short and to the point. Cutscenes don't need to be an hour long. Video game makers. Good news is you can save the game here as well. It looks like everybody got their HP and MP back, except for Cecil, who has no MP. Or does he? We'll find out later. Anyway, friends, thank you so much for listening to me talk about all the nostalgia of playing video games back in the 90s as a child. It's been a complete pleasure sharing the field of battle with you all, broadcasting live from the real world into the Matrix where you are living. Hopefully we'll bust a couple of you out of the Matrix and have you join us here at Cult Classic Neo headquarters outside the Matrix. Thank you so much for subscribing and watching. I love you guys. We'll see you on the next one.